We are starting out the day restoring the old ones. We're actually putting some heat shrink in there, fixing some of the wires in there. I've done this one, I haven't done this one. But you see the shine on that red lens? A quick, cool way of doing that is the headlight restoration stuff. So use a little bit of that stuff and you can actually rub it on there and those will be good. I'm working on that, and then I've got to pull the tail light back out of the fender over here, and then I've got to do the repairs on that corner, and we'll get it tucked up in there. And then I'm going to start working on drilling the holes in here to get those other lights mounted, those little ones over there. We're going to mount them in there, and then I got to figure out my connections and everything in here, because everything should be removable in some way or shape. So I'm going to try and figure that out and see if I can get something worked that way. I may end up having to hardwire those lights in, but you should never have to take those lights out, to be completely honest, just because of where they're going to be at. If you got to change a bulb or something, it's easy to get to, but you might have to cut the wires to actually get them out, because to get a connector that's going to fit through the small bolt shank that is, I have a couple of them, but I don't know if I have the receiving ends or if I have enough of them. So that might be something we end up doing. We'll get to that here in a minute. I'm going to finish restoring the other one of those and getting it working good, and then we'll pull that lens out and we'll start doing some epoxy repairs. Yeah. We have the holes popped and I have those mounted in. We've actually been wiring on these for a while. So I got this set actually basically kind of ready to tailor in. And this side is what I've been working on. But I had the battery in the bike, and I know everybody's pulled one of them dumb moments. Couldn't figure out why I couldn't get signal down here. Hunted around. I all the connections were good. Everything was good. A fuse. I feel silly. But I took a bunch of stuff apart and then realized that I just didn't have it powered. I had pulled the fuse at some point and didn't put it back. But we are continuing getting these in there. I think it's going to look good, because that's going to tuck under. Let me grab the seat real quick. So we got the seat installed on there. I think it's going to look just about perfect. It's not going to mess with anything. Seat will be just barely out of the way of it. Gives a little cool look there and gives you a little bit more safety, and we'll have the light down there. So I think it came out pretty good. I wanted it tucked in real tight, so I was real careful about where I put it, and I wanted it almost to touch the seat, because I just didn't want it any further over. And I kind of like the way it looked right there. So that's what we've gotten done. Me screwing up with a fuse. But we've been soldering on all kinds of stuff. I'm actually working on this one over here, shortening wires up. And, well, actually, it was the one that's on the back of the bike. It's the one I'm shortening the wires up on. We got our harnesses here. I'm trying to figure out the nicest way, because I still want to be able to remove those lights. So we want to be able to pull it through. So I'm using certain connectors so you can pull everything through if you need to replace them someday. So that's something I'm dinking with, making sure you can do that and just tailoring stuff in. Been having a good day. I'm actually feeling somewhat alright with everything. I have not worked on the epoxy on this. I honestly kind of flaked on it because I was starting to work on other stuff. And I worked a little bit of the front wiring. I'm ready to pull the fairing and finish up all that. The hand grip will come in on Monday. We're getting some stuff hammered in there. May not look like a lot, but it always comes down to that at the tail end of a project, and you don't see a lot of progress, and you're like, oh man, I put so much work into this. I thought, I'd at least see more being done, or see this or see that, and it gets you a little discouraged, because you want to see big things on so you can go, yeah. And it's always the little details that bite you in the butt, where you're like, oh, let me do this. Why have I not got power here? What's going on with that? But we're super close with all the little stuff. Actually, the back wiring harness, I say is little stuff, but actually be hard for a lot of people. But I'm stoked. I'm just having fun. I look forward to this bike being out of my life, but I make sure it has to be done right. I can't half-ass it. I gotta watch that on here. You know what I mean? Anytime I start getting frustrated, I gotta step away for a second. But I know that this bike is gonna be, you know, pretty damn cool. Makes me miss Daniel, it really does. Makes me miss hanging out with him. Makes me miss doing shit with him. It's just one of those things that I wish he would have seen this thing come to fruition. Because it's got some cool lines. It's got some cool fucking stance. I do like how that fairing came out with that fender. We were definitely right with that. Definitely need to get clear back on there so it matches everything else. I'll do that before I get too far. I want to get all the... I got too much crap out to actually work on paint. So if you've ever done paint, you really don't want to be doing other stuff around it. So I'm trying to narrow stuff up and get everything as close as I can so I can just shoot some paint and walk away from this for a moment. Because I'm going to go see the wife very soon, less than a week, and I leave and go see her. So I'm excited to see her, so I'm trying to hammer everything out on this as much as I can. Like, I want to have it done. Really want to have it done. I am so close to having it done. Right now it's about 11:30, and I'm getting tired. I was screwing around with some of the boxes, and I ended up finding the one piece of harness I needed. And then I looked at the clock, and I was like, shit, I want to make sure I get some sleep and get back at this so I can keep hammering, because I don't want to get too far off of my schedule. So, otherwise I will just work through the night and not sleep, and then my health gets worse, and that's not good. So, wife will yell at me for that, and we're not going to have that. So, on that note, we are going to call it a night. I'm going to get this uploaded and get back to the house, possibly get some dinner. But I do dig how that's coming out. I think those lights are going to look cool. I was looking at the profile of it with the light on there. So it doesn't bug me too much. I think it kind of looks neat, like tucked up in there, especially when the fender gets in there. I think it'll look good. But I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Before I left, I wanted to show it to you with it lit up, just so you can see how much extra light it's going to give. So I'm going to have two of them on either side, along with the turns. So should be pretty epic.